न्यायालय में practice कर रहे हैं. Since 2010, he has been writing intermittently on the blog The Demanding Mistress on Civil Commercial Litigation. So he has to reach the Supreme Court for his arguments. With your permission, we'd like to invite him to speak first. Jai Sai Deepak ji.
My sincere apologies and thanks to Shri Arif Saab for this kind indulgence. All I can say is that I've come from one lordship to another lordship. And since I think Sir is also a lawyer by training, he knows what I'm saying. So it's surprising, or maybe I think it's just pure coincidence, that I've just finished arguments in a matter relating to heritage and culture. So the question was, and I'll try to, because I've come unprepared, I'll use my arguments here. So, the question was very simple. The Tamil Nadu HRC Act is the one that governs the administration of temples by the bureaucrats of the state government of Tamil Nadu. Whether they are qualified and whether they have the power to undertake architectural and heritage-based renovation of temples which are thousands of years old. Because in the name of renovation, what they have done is sandblasting across the place. In the process, structures which are at least 1500 to 1600 years old have been effaced and defaced. You can't even get to see what the Cholas and the Pandyas have built. So the point was whether the court, or rather whether the rules which permit them to do this, which speak of alterations, are constitutional or unconstitutional. Do they fall within the definition of a preservation? All I can say is we've come out decently successful and we've come out with an interpretation from a bench of the Supreme Court saying nothing can be done that changes the basic structure of the temple. So in another way, this is a basic structure doctrine in the context of a temple. So that's something. This takes me to perhaps the conversation of today. So as Arif Saab, as always eloquent and erudite, and according to me, he is an embodiment of Bharatiyata in every way. So there couldn't have been a better example in today's tumultuous times of Bharatiyata in action. So when people constantly wonder how do we actually fuse and blend multiple identities, well, here's an answer. Therefore, since practicals are possible, theoretically it is certainly possible. One of the things that I have been concerned with, apart from my professional commitments, is how do we address the rapid secularization of Bharatiya arts? And this ties into what Arif Saab has pointed out, that the very purpose of Kala is to take you as close as possible to the Supreme Consciousness. Therefore, Bhakti is an integral, inseparable, indispensable component of Bharatiya Kala, whatever form it may be. Now, the problem is the moment you say Bhakti, the question is religion. What religion? Secularism. What do we do? All sorts of red flags come into the picture. Now I have to say that if you feel that you are a part of this civilization and you don't find a conflict between any identity that you may have chosen or adopted because of, let's say, circumstances of history, and still you find yourself as a member of this civilization, you shouldn't have a problem with the word Bhakti whatsoever. And you certainly should not have a problem with the Bhakti orientation of Bharatiya Kalas. The problem of the last 15-16 years, according to my humble view, and nevertheless controversial view, is that removal of Bhakti from Bharatiya arts will pave way to what has been happening for over 200 years, which is appropriation and cultural appropriation of Bharatiya arts and taking away their identity. Typically, secularization and debhaktiization of Bharatiya arts has paved the way for appropriation by foreign parties, so to speak. I don't know how many of you have been following the recent controversy about the ability of a particular individual to, let's say, live and breathe and do yoga in the cold. Our rishis and sadhus have known this for thousands of years. Now it is apparently being passed off as what is called the Wim Hof method of breathing. And it will be repackaged and sold to us. So if we say something or if we point out something that becomes quackery and it apparently reeks and smacks of lack of scientific temper, but if it comes back repackaged, hopefully with credentials from the West, then it acquires scientific temper on its own. So our arts also go through the process of conversion, according to me. So that I think is deeply problematic, because at the end of the day, this is perhaps the last surviving strand, a pure strand at that, which connects us to our past, which has managed to survive the ravages of time and history. So I hope that in the stream of arts, at the very least, we have the guts to call a spade, because an artist's primary commitment is to truth, and if an artist fails to call a spade, then I think he is less of an artist. I have nothing more to say. Jai Shri Ram, thank you.